Hey everyone, thank you for starting Unit 1. This is Competitive Intelligence and Your Why. I'm going to get into some of the tools that we as Guardian Owl utilize on a daily basis and how you for free can download these tools and utilize them to do an audit of your business. So we're going to jump into the first tool called Screaming Frog. Screaming Frog is a tool that I absolutely love. It's a web scraper tool that is going to allow us to put in a URL. I'm just going to use bobhook.com. They're an automotive dealership. I know they have a ton of pages, so it's going to pick up a lot of information. And I'm going to start it right now. So you can see right now through Screaming Frog, it's beginning to scrape the site. And what it's picking up right here along this area, you're going to be focusing in on the page titles, meta descriptions, meta keywords, H1s, H2s, and a lot of times I focus on images, but we'll get into that later. So you can see it's a big site. It's look at all of it's already crawled over 154 pages, and I can already show you some of the meat and bones here of the site. And so what competitive intelligence is all about is understanding what information you are giving the search engines to play with or read and learn the ins and outs of your business. So the first page that I'm going to look at is the home page. Right now, the home page's title says Best Rated Chevrolet Dealership in Louisville, Kentucky. Bob Hook Chevrolet. The title length is 69. And, I think that we can overall look at that and say, okay, they have a page title here. That's check one. Good. Two, have they included some of the major search queries within this title that people in their area are searching for? And so this is always what brings us to the next big part of SEO is what are people searching for? And am I meeting my audience where they are? And so just put a pin in that because this is a 7-week course, but I want you to begin to understand and have the mindset of, wow, what am I giving the Google, Pinterest, Facebook, it doesn't matter. What information am I giving them? And am I putting the information that I want to show up for within my site? And so this is one of the biggest tools that we use on a daily basis because it quickly crawls or scrapes. I like to utilize crawl because I look at although this is Screaming Frog, I wish this said Screaming Spider because that's how I look at scraping. It is essentially Google going out and crawling like a spider across all of these titles, meta descriptions, and learning and reading. And so that's how I always like to think of it. I hope that helps you because for Screaming Frog, although, it can jump over everything, I don't know, it's just in my brain visually. I'm a visual learner. And so that's how I sometimes like to look at things. So just going back to the page titles, a lot of people say that SEO is all about the keywords and what page titles and your metadata behind the scenes, it's almost like this is the magic potion, and it's an ingredient within the mixing bowl, but certainly it's not a magic ingredient, and it also is only one of a periodic table of ingredients that are needed to make revenue from your website or your a search engine. And it is also important, but it's not the single backbone to your SEO. And I wanted to explain why. About 4 years ago, Google inserted rank brain into the search engine. So if I go to Google right now and I just search rank brain, you can actually look, it'll bring up, an FAQ of a 2016 all about machine learning technology. Why I bring this up is because the metadata, the meta keywords that you are now inputting into the back end of your site aren't near as important because Google is now learning. And so, because you have artificial intelligence, deemed the nickname Rank Brain by Google, within the search engines, it's so much smarter and can understand where you're located. So you don't have to put geography in Louisville 10 times over. It understands that you're Bob Hook Chevrolet. And theoretically, we don't need to put Bob Hook Chevrolet 20 million times throughout the site if we're ranked #1 and our keyword density for Bob Hook Chevrolet is well beyond the competitors. So there's a lot of things that Google can now do. And what's great is the biggest change is, you don't have to focus on putting, the most important keywords related to your business on here because Google gets that. They understand now. Again, it's artificial intelligence. It's going to learn after a few times that, okay, this is Bob Hook Chevrolet and you sell Chevrolets. But what it needs to understand is who is your audience and which consumer do I show your Sonic to? And so this is where, the periodic table of elements really comes into play. And it's certainly not something you can learn over a 7-week period of time. But I'm hopeful that over this period of time, I can give you enough information that you're armed with better business intelligence. You can make better business decisions because you understand that it's not just about, a couple hour or a 3-month checkup on your meta keywords anymore. This is a actively learning machine. And every day when you do a search on Google, it is looking at your mobile device separately versus your Google Home or Alexa voice device separately. It's looking at your watches and wearable gear separately. And right now, what we're focused on is simply, the search engine results pages of Google. And how do you show up more frequently and meet your audience when they type in, Chevrolet Equinox sale dealer. And the great thing, you can see who's showing up right here. Bob Hook did not show up for that search, but I'm not really searching for a car. So I'm actually pretty glad that Bob Hook didn't show up because, again, it would take you a lot of money, way too much money to show up just in, the Louisville metro market, which is where I'm located right now performing this video, for Bob Hook Chevrolet to show up for every single person that searched this. And so what Bob Hook Chevrolet wants to do, and I use this example because this is the site that we're crawling and finished crawling, just to stick with it. We want to show up for that person that has been on autotrader.com, Car Gurus, and has done the research. And now I'm showing up for that person that's looking for the best dealership. I really know already what the starting price is of the Equinox. I really want at this point, if I'm clicking on an ad, to shop for the dealer. But right now I want to look at, what is showing up. Notice this near me, cars.com. I love that they started incorporating this because this near me is something that consumers are utilizing. And so we're going to start segueing into the next part of auditing your business. And so once you understand, what these page titles are. So again, Screaming Frog, if you go to screamingfrog.com or Screaming Frog Crawler, download this and you're going to be able to crawl your website. If it's more than 500 pages, you will have to get a license. But again, just chew a little bite off first. Start with 10 pages and then think about, log into your website and think about what information would I put on my homepage if I wanted to show up for the consumer of the consumer that I want, the consumer that is ready to buy, is my customer. I have what they're looking for. And so I have a worksheet that we're going to be able to walk through in just a minute that's going to help you identify that. But I like to use the saying, put a pin in it, because we'll be back to it. So just table it for now, because we'll be going through, okay, what information do I put in those page titles? Even if I have a, 10-page site, to best meet my customer where they are. So in going back to the search engine result page, you're going to see here, what the top organic search results are. And so what I always, like to know is, what are people in my area searching for? And then what is my site attracting? And so if you, I said that we were segueing here. So we're going to be really talking about now connecting your audience with where they are. So again, thinking about this business intelligence of there's artificial intelligence within the search engines, and Google now has the ability to really show your site, if you give the information necessary, to your dream client. So we want to give the information to connect the audience that we want, our desirable audience, where they are. And so Screaming Frog is going to be the first tool that we talked about. But the next tool that we're now going to get into is Google Search Console. And so Google Search Console, there's a prerequisite. If you are getting to this point and you're like, holy crap, what did you just open? Go back to pause this. We're 13 minutes in. Congratulations for getting this far and paying attention. But go back to the Google Analytics module, link them up. I teach you how to integrate it. Right now, we're going into Google Search Console, and for time's sake, I'm already logged in. I have Bob Hook here pulled up. You're going to go into performance. And so what people always ask me is, okay, Jenna, how do I know that this SEO thing is really working? Because, I'm 3 months in and I haven't generated more sales. And I say to you, that's great that you're asking that question, Mr. Client, because Google gives you a free tool to track whether or not my business, Guardian Owl, or your website is performing better over time. And so you can see it always like to look nice. You're going to look at this and it's always going to look like the stock market. Consider that normal. It is going to look like up and down, up and down. And again, if you look at it on 2 weeks, it could give you a migraine over a 2-week period, because you can get into the weeds. You never want to do that. It's always about patience and ingredients over time giving you equity within the search engines. And so just note when you see major declines. So right here, you can see Sunday, November 4th and Tuesday, December 25th. Even though this looks like a big drop, we actually had a bigger drop, over Thanksgiving and probably the week before, but we're still trending very much upward. In fact, one of our top performing days in the last 3 months. And so what I like to look at is, okay, let's compare how people right now are getting to the site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do compare last 3 months to previous period, and I'm going to hit apply. So I can't, first of all, I can't tell you how much I think this tool should be worth. I can't believe it's free. If you don't have Google Search Console set up and integrated, you are an absolute fool if you're running a e-commerce business. This is literally your window to hold your SEO company, your web guy, whoever it is, accountable for month over month growth in organic presence. Don't look at keywords anymore. Stop it. Just stop. There's machine learning. You're not going to outsmart computers, people. So start looking at Google Search Console and asking the questions in your business. Is my homepage getting more traffic month over month from my brand name? You know what? It is. Google is showing my site 5965 Gs. We've grown about 1,500 impressions. We're growing at about 1,500 more impressions over a 90-day period for Bob Hook Chevrolet. What I'm looking at too is you can see our clicks though. Our clicks have actually improved, way more than that. We went from 1,373 to 2,100. So we're getting more impressions and we're gaining a higher click-through rate from our brand. This is so exciting. So what else are we looking at and learning from? This is where you can sincerely dig in and say, holy crap, how are people getting to my site? And who is this customer? So Bob Hook Used Cars, we could probably with common sense derive that these are customers or people that obviously are going to come to Bob Hook Chevrolet. They know the brand, hopefully to buy a car. Chevy dealer near me. This to me is gold. I want to show up for every search that someone says Chevy dealer near me. And you can see my big concern right here when I look at this is we're gaining in clicks. We went from 13 in the previous 3 months, previous 3 months, and then last 3 months. I just want you to know, 13 to 84. Holy mackerel. Why haven't our impressions improved to the same degree? Here is artificial intelligence. This is telling you that this search query, Chevy dealer near me, has increased in search volume over the course of the last 90 days. And Google is not showcasing our site more often because we do not have Chevy dealer near me throughout our site. This is a key example of a way and an opportunity that Google is saying, hey, if you want to show up for more of those customers for free, start incorporating that keyword within your site. And so now I'm going to get into, we're going to jump around here, but I told you that we would look at a couple different tools. And so, okay, now I learned one thing. So we're going to table that Chevy dealer near me. And we saw that those clicks went up dramatically. But my impressions, Google's actually showing me less. So what I want to know, I always love this tool Ahrefs. This allows me to pull really quickly some keyword rankings. Um, and what my organic rankings look like immediately right now. And I want to see if I'm ranking for the Chevy dealer near me. So and it doesn't look like we are. So I'm thinking, let's see. So Ahrefs is a tool here that Tim Solo, I love. He's the marketing director. I follow him on Facebook. Join the Ahrefs Facebook group. It gives you free access to updates, and you can kind of follow along and learn as they are constantly and continually improving and are just experts in aggregating correct and accurate search engine results, whether that's backlinks or keywords or page titles and metadata information. It's all right here. So you can kind of see right now I went through, I just put in my URL. It will allow you to crawl or scrape a URL for free and kind of give you some of the information that you want, up to I think maybe 10 pages or so for free. But you can go here and see organic keywords, and then let's see what our position is. Bob Hook, Chevrolet, Louisville, Chevy dealer, Louisville, we're ranked 3. We've moved up right here for Chevy. So I'm not seeing that we're top rank. Chevy dealership, again, we need Chevy dealer near me. Chevy dealer Louisville. Okay, so so again, we're still in pages 1. Is a tool, and I have to thank Allison Taylor for this tool because I got a subscription. It's $14 a month and I love it. I use SEMrush too, so you can see this here, but I love being able to search a search query and find out how much traffic it's getting. And I might have to redo that because you always want it on Keyword Planner, so that might be my fault. But this is $14 a month. It is legitimately a great tool. You can utilize SEMrush. You can utilize Ahrefs. Certainly utilize Google Search Console to see which queries are bringing you traffic for free. That is a free tool, people, so use it. But before you sign up for $14 a month, make sure you integrate it and utilize everything free. But once you get to this point in your journey and you're searching for, is Chevy dealer near me producing traffic in the last 90 days, and what do I need to change? I can see here it certainly looks like it's producing a lot. So 165,000. That looks like huge. That's a lot. So you can see cost per click. That is what it would take to show up in a ad on Google. So that's $8.13. So remember, Chevy dealer near me, it is probably taking Bachman around $9. You could expect to show up right there. So that's what this CPC is saying. So again, I really like this tool because it quickly tells me, okay, United States, is this a tool? Just quickly, that's deriving a ton of traffic and I want to spend my time worrying about. You can see it is. So you can narrow this down in SEMrush and some paid tools into Louisville, Kentucky, and more granular areas. But if at this point, you're doing this on your own, just make sure you are covering your basis and Utilizing search queries. Notice this doesn't say Chevrolet dealership near me. This is Chevy dealer near me because that's how people search and that's how we talk and communicate. And so this is, again, we're all this whole right now, the goal would be for us at Bob Hook to month over month track and go from, okay, we went from 1,300 impressions that Google showed us for in 30 days. I want this to go to 3,000, and then I want it to go to 5,000. And so what I'm going to do in the meantime is start incorporating Chevy dealer near me into the page titles. So we go back here, instead of Bob Hook Chevrolet, I'm going to change some of these, and I'm going to make sure Chevy dealer near me is within some of these page titles and meta descriptions near you, because I want Google to, and it's mostly near you in here, because again, it's artificial intelligence and people, Google is going to understand that. And so that would be my first step, is going back through these page titles and meta descriptions and combing through and putting together some keywords, especially Chevy dealer near me, search queries that I know are relevant to my business and my target audience. And, so we went over Ahrefs, we went over and dove in a little bit to Google Search Console. We went through Key Search. It's $14 a month. And I know, I'm jumping in and all over the place, but I'm trying to get you as much intel as I can and fire hose information into these trainings so that you can learn, ask questions, and I can get better with these over time and understand what's important to you, where my audience is at, and how I can best help you guys with your business. And so where I start getting questions is around this point, and often it's about just your business. And a lot of times it's around the search engine mindset that you have to have. If you have a website online, that's a whole separate business. It takes, you could be putting out content every minute of the day and it still wouldn't be enough content. So when people ask me, is content important? Well, yeah, content's super important. But what's also important is your content being seen and shown by Google month over month? And are you attracting that right customer into your website? And that's where the dots aren't connected for businesses yet online, because they don't have that business intelligence within search engines and the understanding yet to look at their online website as a business. And so I put together this questionnaire and I'm going to upload it to Unit 1. And this is all about how your business got started. And so these are some of the questions that I want you to walk through. And I methodically went through these because over the course of the next several units, this is going to be your foundation in being able to utilize these free tools and actually make it impactful for your business. So not Bob Hook Chevrolet, not Guardian Owl Digital, your business. And so it comes down to, okay, what made you decide to start this business? Literally share that story. I want you to write it out. And if you don't complete this information, you will not be able to move on, because these units, again, are going to build off of what you have wrote here. And so if you don't complete it, it's legitimately, there's just no reason to continue. So it's just super important that you make the effort in putting this information in, or else we're not going to be able to walk through the information together in understanding how to do your SEO and meet your consumers where they are with the information that we're putting on your site and on the back end of your site. So really, really important information. And so just going back to these first couple of questions, they're really, really, I want to say easy, but put some time into it. For instance, why did you decide to offer your main product or service, and what was that need that it fulfilled? This is really, really important. People, when they research online, want to know kind of what your core values are. Brands fail when they stop interweaving their story and core values. And so I know that your business, yes, it may have been around, or you're sitting here listening to me and you've been in business for 5 years and have been telling everybody, but is it on Google My Business? Is it on your website as effectively as it should? Is it on YouTube? Is it on Facebook? Where is it online? Do you have new pictures? Is there a timeline? Have you taken actionable steps to, again, interweave those core values and appeal to your audiences throughout Google, Facebook, and the major search engines? Are you building those funnels, if you will, to make sure you're attracting the right customer? And so this is why this I call it the business intelligence for search engines, because this is really your search engine mindset for your business. And as marketing, it should be a key moneymaker in your business, not the content. And so I am going to help you reprioritize every single day what to focus on from a website perspective that will help you drive more visitors and more eyeballs to your website, which again, hopefully if you fill this out and we're doing this correctly, it's the right eyeballs. And so the internet has made consumers just super educated and allowed consumers to do all the research prior to them even submitting a lead. And so this is all about first generating the eyeballs. And then, if you're at the point where you have the eyeballs and, you're just not generating the leads, then this 7-week course probably is a little too basic for you. But I'm hoping this can be super valuable. And through some of the tools that we went through today, you'll be able to really start auditing your business. So the last big tool that I want to go through here today is because obviously search queries and meeting the customer where they are is really important. But the big element then too is if your site is slow, it is just elements of success that you need to have. Your site needs to be fast. It's a ranking factor. And so I'm going to put in Bob Hook into gtmetrics.com. I utilize this. But there's also a brand new one that Google developer, their team came up with. And so I'll walk you through that. Hopefully. So you're going to go to right here, and it's developers.google.com/speed. And it is, again, this is just Google's page speed insight. So I always like to use a little bit of a more unbiased approach because you want to look at everything. But this right here gives you a lot of information. I know, right, looking at this, you're probably like, what am I looking at? So really what I always say is just ignore these big numbers and focus on the fully loaded time, the total page size, so how big is your page, because that's probably affecting how long it takes for it to come up. And then requests. Requests is almost like, if you can think about Google knocking on your website saying, hey, help me show this image. Hey, what is this? How many knocks does it take to get your page to fully load? And so right here, you can see enable compression for the following resources. It looks like contact at once, which is a chat, a toolbar. If we can compress that, that's going to be huge for us. It's really going to load up how fast our page can load on desktop in Chrome. And that's all about a feature on an automotive website that we know we need to function, and we're sacrificing speed. But certainly if we can reduce this even by 10%, that's going to help us with this load time. So this is something that I try to do every time I go into a site. We're always trying to make things faster. We're always trying to, again, meet customers where they are. But then if our site doesn't show up first, then we're missing opportunity to capitalize on customers searching for what we need. So this is great. So this is if you're looking at this again and you're like, okay, I don't have a web guy, how do I compress this? This is something where it gives you, it's a free tool, and it literally, you're going to have to dive in and learn yourself, because there really aren't a ton of courses other than what is here, unless you are going to hire a developer or go in and compress the images yourself. If you're using WordPress, there's a great tool called WP Smush. So that's a plugin that you can utilize, but ultimately I would learn to compress some images there. And Google, this developers.google is going to give you, again, some great information too, that hopefully is helpful even for a more basic SEO learner. And so you can see right here, I love that this shows, okay, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and really what it looks like, because even though fully loaded is 6 seconds or whatever it was, 6.4, you can see that we do have something at 1.9, which is really, really strong. So I'm super excited about this. Google's giving us opportunities here. I would send a screenshot to, my developer right now and just say, hey, I need some help with this, because CSS, this is some styling code. Some of this I know that they can help me compress and eliminate so that we're loading faster. But Page Speed Insights, it's a free tool. Again, I cannot freaking believe that some of these tools are free. So start taking advantage of them, and then pay money, that $14 a month, for the tools that you do need if you get to the level that you need that type of information, because of the traffic value and the low-hanging fruit that you've been able to already correct. And so again, I am so excited about what we've been able to really dive in today. Google Search Console. I'm thankful to shout out to Bob Hook Chevrolet for being my example today, my client example. It's so great to utilize Google Search Console. Again, if you are needing help with integrating or understanding any of what we go through, please just email the admin email. I designated a specific email for the group, and I think it's members@guardianowdigital.com. And so if you're a member, please take advantage and utilize our help desk so that, we can help you along the way as much as possible, free of charge. So I hope that this was helpful, and congratulations on getting through Unit 1.